Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I bring you entrepreneurs, founders, executives, artists, musicians, you name it, in the world, across the world, in crypto and blockchain, and um, have been bringing you podcasts for the past 2 years almost, and it's been amazing. And I'm not gonna lie, I got an amazing guest again today. His name is Barry Mezzi. He is the founder of Quan 2.0. Barry, welcome.
Hi, how are you, Jamil?
I am great. I'm looking forward to this interview. And
Thank you.
so yeah, so let's kick things off.
Okay.
First question is this is what is your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
So I grew up with autism, bipolar disorder, Tourette syndrome, significant learning disabilities, math and science. I have a great team around me because where I have learning disabilities on the mathematics side, I have people that are wonderful people around me on the accounting side, the mathematics side that help me out and assist me with things I need help with. Um, But my background that I grew up with is sports and entertainment, believe it or not. It's not anything to do with crypto or math or anything like that. Um, I was an athlete in high school, and I went to college at New York Institute of Technology and University of Miami, earning dual advanced diplomas, which are the majors only without the core courses. And then I went on to earn an athlete management diploma from Sports Management Worldwide. Started my career in 2006 as a sports marketing agent after graduating from their athlete management course. Recruited my first two clients at the University of Miami, Zach and Paige Raley, who Zach went on to win Olympic silver in 2008 in China in the sport of sailing. And in 2007, I joined this community that I was very hesitant. It was called MySpace. And let me just fill in something real quick. I was on Facebook since 2004. I was the second student at the University of Miami to be on Facebook starting in 2004. I had my account deleted twice, unfortunately, but I'm no longer on Facebook. Um, but um, starting in 2007, I started using MySpace, Facebook as ways of mediums to recruit clients in the sports and entertainment sector to for signing them for representation because I couldn't travel to the various different tennis tournaments and sports events as I was a startup agency and I didn't have the financing. So I figured what better way than reach out to athletes that are already established pros and that are going and or turning pro that are in tennis and other sports that and mixed martial arts and other and various other sports to represent them. And in 2008, I met Tim Hardaway, NBA superstar Tim Hardaway, senior, that is, not junior. It's, after his 2007 gay bashing comments on the Dan Le Batard show on ESPN radio, and I was completely oblivious to these comments. Um, and it's kind of ironic because I was in sports at the time and I was completely oblivious to them. But I met him at a restaurant, signed him 2 weeks later, and of course he knew my last name because my father was a longtime doctor for the Miami Heat, and I was instrumental in turning around his post-career at that time after his unflattering comments about gay people by forming his foundation for him here in South Florida. And what that led to indirectly, what a lot of people tell me is that indirectly led to his jersey retirement, his job with the Miami Heat as head of community relations and head of player scouting, and that led to the fact because he was instrumental in putting together the big three with Alonzo Mourning, Pat Riley, Nick Harrison, Mickey's son, who's also an acquaintance of mine. And so what happens is it's amazing how a chain reaction can get set off by a sequence of events. By just one simple event can set off a sequence of events, and that's where my career really started. And then in 2014, I got wrongfully discriminated against my autism spectrum disorder by the ATP World Tour and WTA tours, and I kind of got put on a do not credential list and a misunderstanding due to my autism spectrum disorder. And so I've been done with the sports sector since 2014. I entered into entertainment, and I founded my own Roku channel in 2021. And I said to myself, why not have and at that time we had founded a charity, the Barry Mays Foundation for Autism, to give jobs to people with autism mental health issues and around films and documentaries and stuff like that. So I figured I needed a way to finance this stuff. So I said, why not create a crypto token? So we created the first Quan token in December of 2021. That token got phished, unfortunately, but we all learned from our mistakes. I was brand new to crypto and I did something I shouldn't have. And we updated our security protocols, and now we have Quan 2.0. And believe it or not, we're actually outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, according to Coin Codex as of last night. So that's very exciting news.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's not hard to outperform Bitcoin right now.
But yeah.
But yeah, this is hopefully doing in the long run. I gotta ask you about the 2007 MySpace, because you're the first guest I've had on my show who was in that space back in 2007, and there was a lot of stuff going on in that space then, and there's a lot of stuff that's been going on recently in crypto now. What was that space like then in 2007, and how does it compare to now in crypto?
So 2007, I don't even think crypto was around. Bitcoin started in 2008. Oh,
yeah, MySpace was around.
Yeah, 2007. So MySpace was just a social media site where you could network and meet people and stuff like that, and your friends. And it was a cool place to show pictures and meet people and stuff like that, and network and listen to music and all sorts of stuff. It eventually became a music site when Facebook became dominant force. MySpace went under and eventually became a music site. Like I said, not much about MySpace anymore. But I have a feeling Facebook is becoming obsolete as well. Starting now. I mean, it's like, and hopefully Twitter doesn't go under, because I kind of wish they would, because it's something that happened to me in 2017 with them. But I won't get into that. But I had my account wrongfully banned by them for free speech violations, and I wound up suing them. And I lost the lawsuit due to Section 230 of the CDA. It gives those companies immunity. So, but now that Elon owns it, I'm a big Elon fan, and I'm hoping they don't go under. So, and I'm hoping he restores my old account. So that would be nice.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that was a personal account, by the way. So
I didn't know
where I had 70.8 thousand followers. I had 70.8 thousand followers.
How did you get them?
So in 2015, I became I did a reality show called Big B, which is a show about autism. It's like autism meets Howard Stern meets broke Ari Gold from Entourage. And it's really entertaining and hysterical. And it's autistic humor, and it's kind of raunchy and over the top. So I don't want to get too much into it, but it Amazon loved it. They immediately signed me through Amazon Prime. And that's one of the reasons why I had the problems with the ATP and WTA, I feel, is because one of their tournaments didn't like the trailer for my show because it was very raunchy and over the top. But there's no excuse for that because the owner of WMEIMG, Ari Emanuel, who Ari Gold's character is portrayed after, is raunchy and over the top in the industry. Everybody knows him as that. So he's very over the top in the sports entertainment industry. So I didn't see what the big deal was. Just they didn't like the content I was producing. So I kind of feel they viewed me as a rival and a threat to their existence because I had so many big names by that time in tennis that were working with me that were icons. So I had focused on the icons mainly rather than the current players on tour. And I figured that was the better way to make money. Unfortunately, I got taken advantage of by a penny stock scam in 2013. I won't go into it because there's civil litigation pending, but and a UCC lien. But the guy took complete advantage of my autism spectrum disorder and vulnerabilities due to my autism and used me to run a pump and dump scam. So
Yeah, I could see
it's
that.
tough being autistic sometimes.
I'm a little bit too. So yes, I agree. Now I want to find out about Quan 1 before we get into Quan 2.0, and I want to get into that quickly. I want to find out what lesson you said that you learned during Quan 1.0 that will serve you now today to build a better product and program.
So, believe it or not, nobody had educated me not to type in my seed phrase anywhere, even on a website for liquidity. And I was referred to this website to get liquidity in $20 million in liquidity for my Quan 1 token. And I entered my seed phrase into the website, and immediately the guy drained my MetaMask wallet and took all my Binance token and all my Quan 1.
Oh, yeah,
and so, yeah, that's like the biggest mistake you can make, That's the biggest mistake you can make. And since then, I've learned not to ever do that ever again, No matter where you are, you never enter your seed phrase to anyone, never show it to anyone, never do anything like that, So that was the big mistake on my end.
I did it.
Luckily, we didn't have a lot of purchasers at that time. We only had about 5 or 6. So
I did something
and
similar.
They didn't purchase a whole lot. Yeah.
I did something similar in 2017. It was only $500, but I watched it go right into MetaMask and right through MetaMask externally, and I never saw it again. So I get it.
Yeah.
So it's a lesson, though. I think everybody learns a lesson. I'm glad we learned it early.
Yes.
Let's talk about Quan 2.0 then. What's it about and what makes it unique?
So Quan 2.0 is the world's first mental health and autism-based charity and advocacy token. It's formed under my Florida nonprofit small charitable organization, the Barry Mezzi Foundation for Autism Incorporated, as an affiliate. The token produces, finances, and pays our content creators in our token to make content and give people a job opportunity with autism and or mental health disorders to create their own TV show or their own docuseries or their own documentary for residual income for life off the advertising, on top of which they get 70% of the advertising. The foundation gets 30%, and then through the Roku channel, and then they also get paid in tokens as a content creator, and a certain amount of tokens to be able to live a comfortable life and cover the expenses for their show or their content. So we're doing a wonderful thing. We also are focused on providing housing, meals, as well as counseling services and a bunch of other advocacy services we're coming up with. We're also, I'd hate to bring this up at this point due to FTX, but we were focused on trying to get athletes involved in sports sponsorships that in handicap sports, but we're not doing that at this point because of the whole FTX scandal. I'm staying away from anything to do with any athletes right now. Even though I have a solid reputation and I have a great reputation in that arena, it's like, and by the way, our token has to abide by strict regulations as a charity, so you don't have to worry about any sort of like scamming or rug pulling with us. It's like we're 100% transparent. Everything comes out in our annual filings and our revenues, our earnings, our expenses. Everything is filed with the IRS and with the state of Florida. So there's full transparency with us. It's not like because we're a nonprofit charitable organization, we have to be fully transparent. Otherwise, we lose our charity. So, there's no hokey pokey with us. And this is my baby. It's something that I deeply care about. I've invested over $30,000 worth of my own personal money into this token to be able to get it off the ground, and the charity get it off the ground roughly. So $30,000 roughly, selling high-end sports cards and memorabilia I have in my collection through my family trust that I sold to be able to finance this thing, to follow in my mother's footsteps, who actually created a program for me when I was 9 or 10 years old at the JCC, before George H.W. Bush signed the Americans with Disabilities Act into effect. So basically, this was 1990. We founded one of the very first programs of its kind for people with special needs in the United States, because there were hardly any programs around. George H.W. Bush signed the Americans with Disabilities Act into effect in 1992, and my mother founded this program in 1990 for me as somebody with special needs. And it's called the Shirley and Chester Paul Special Needs Program at the Alper JCC in Miami. It's named after my grandparents in honor of them as being the core backers for years. And but this is where I came up with the whole idea to follow in my mother's footsteps to help people with special needs, because my mother has a very kind heart for helping people, and she's a little bit fed up with me being 42 years old and and still trying to cut it. But I've finally accomplished something that's beat out Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, as of if we're taking the market. So I wouldn't say overtaking the market, but as beating them out in terms of according to Coin Codex, with everything. So I'm really excited about what we've going on. We're a utility token. We're not a security. We're not a stable coin, because we operate within our own ecosystem, and that's what we're doing, providing services and advocacy as well as job opportunities for those with autism and mental health issues. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. Yeah, my wife. I'm 52. My wife's like, when are you gonna get everything rolling together? I'm like, it takes a while to build.
Yeah, it does. It took me nearly almost 17 since 1999. So since I graduated high school, so we're talking 23 years, almost 24 years going on. I've been doing stuff, but everything I've done has been successful on a level, maybe not always financially, but everything I've done has been successful. I mean, this is the question I'm asking in the audience at Web3 Summits, which I'm speaking at next week. But I want to ask you this question to see if you know this, because these people were not rich; they wore rags on their back, and even though it revolves around religion, who were the three most successful people in history of mankind? Can you take a guess?
What, history of mankind?
In the history of
Um,
mankind, the three most successful people, and does not revolve around money. It revolves around charity and morals and goodwill
okay. Noah,
and faith.
Noah, Moses, and um, Socrates.
No. Moses, Jesus Christ, and the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay. Yep, makes sense. Yeah, I was close with Moses.
Yeah.
There. I was close.
They're the three most successful people in all of the history of mankind. And they were not rich. It because they're successful because they left a legacy behind that made a difference in the world.
Let's talk about that. So your
With a huge
platform and your
following.
token. Let's talk about your platform and your token and a legacy, right?
Yeah.
What's the legacy you want to leave to help people with autism, mental health, and special needs? You know, what contribution do you want to make outside of money, and how have you built that to work with your platform?
I just want to be remembered as the guy that transformed special needs advocacy as a nice, humble guy that cared about people and that was well loved for everything he's done for the special needs community, and that 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 just was a normal person. That was just a regular guy that I don't want to be I don't want to be viewed as anything special. I want to be remembered like Jesus. Even though I'm Jewish, I want to be remembered like Jesus as a guy who I could wear rags in the back for the rest of my life, walk the earth, and be the happiest guy in the world, knowing I made a contribution that helped change the world of autism and mental health. That's how nice and humble I am. I'm not about greed. I'm not about any of that stuff. I I I I I feel that people that make millions of dollars or billions of dollars are quite miserable. I've seen it firsthand because your average salary worker that makes $70,000 a year is your happiest person in the world. Um, they say according to certain statistics, but it doesn't hurt to have a nice comfortable life, but to live in comfort compared to living extravagant is something that's completely different. And and I just want to live a comfortable life and be remembered for somebody that helped a lot of people.
I love that. So you're going to help a lot of people with this documentary, and people are going to see something, right? What are they going to
Yeah,
see? So
so we want to give everybody we can opportunities with documentaries, TV series, stuff like that, by raising money using Quant 2.0 token. The symbol is Quant2. That's spelled KWAN number 2 afterwards. It's all one word. And basically, you know, right now we're trading internationally on TokPi, which is overseas out of Hong Kong. But the charity hasn't seen any money yet from that because we just got listed on one exchange. We're waiting to get listed. Hopefully, well, we're waiting to get listed on many more exchanges. Not hopefully, we will get listed on many more exchanges in the United States. The big ones we're looking at right now, like Kraken, Binance US, and Coinbase, we're looking at. And with those centralized exchanges, the way those exchanges work is they pay a percentage of money back into the token that where with centralized exchanges like that where they sell tokens. So we're supposed to get a certain amount of money back, as I understand it, from stuff like that. So from centralized exchanges, if I'm correct. If not, we'll just sell tokens in our reserves to finance things, that we need to do, But the way I understand it, centralized exchanges, they pay the token itself a certain amount back. So I'm brand new to this whole crypto thing, just so you know. So I'm not completely 100% well versed in everything. I have a team guiding me on everything that I'm doing. So, and a wonderful team behind me. So that's a remarkable thing. I'll just give a shout out to two of my team members, Niall Henson, who is big into NFTs and crypto right now. He's a tech pioneer. He pioneered cable television in the 1970s as the CEO of the Cube experiment, which was the first interactive two-way cable TV system in the world, out of Columbus, Ohio. And he was prominent in co-founding networks such as MTV, Country Music Television. He was the CEO of. He was instrumental in pay-per-view, movie channel, first general manager in Nickelodeon, and now he's taking his knowledge of technology and entertainment and creating his own crypto token to pay content creators on his platform, his new platform, Technotainment, which is launching hopefully in the next few years. So that's something he's doing, where he's merged technologies of NFTs and cryptocurrency with entertainment as well. So, and then, but he's not around charity based with that. He's around making money with that. That's the difference. So it's like, but with us, we're all about helping people. So, and I can't take a salary as a board member in anything because it's a charity. So the only way I can make any money on this is taking tokens as a content creator through my content that I do through the charity as well. So that's the only way I can make money on this, is taking tokens as a content creator and, to fund my stuff as well. So I'm one of the people that the foundation is also employing, but at the same time for content, but we're all volunteers on the board, if you catch my drift.
I catch a drift. I understand. I want to go back to something you said earlier. Because I have a, I'm not going to name names, but you said that you're not because of this whole FTX thing, you're not catering to sports celebrities. Now, I have a what if question for you, and it's what if these sports celebrities are just a scapegoat and the real responsibility lies somewhere else? And I'm not going to say whether someone else is, but they know who they are.
Yes.
What if they were just scapegoats and that it was okay to be able to
well, in all honesty, I believe those sports celebrities are all scapegoats because I know Naomi Osaka's agent, Stuart Dugard. I'm connected with him on LinkedIn. I've met him at tournaments in the past when he used to work. And and I don't know Tom Brady's agent or any of those guys, or Steph Curry, but I will say that I know Naomi Osaka's agent, and I witnessed Naomi Osaka coming up as a junior at the Orange Bowl, and I can tell you that none of these sports stars would risk their entire fortunes or their lives if they knew anything was going on fishy with that company. I can tell you that as somebody that was a reputable tennis agent and sports marketing agent for many years. These sports stars would not risk anything if they knew something fishy was going on. I feel they are scapegoats in a lawsuit for people that are trying to recover money. And that's the bottom line. That's what I feel.
We're together on that.
Yeah.
So, I want to shift gears then.
I mean, let me just say this: even if the sports stars were offered equity, unless they knowingly knew what was going on inside the company, which I guarantee you they did not. I can almost guarantee you they knew nothing about the inside dealings of FTX. Because they would keep that internally very close since it was, a lot of major crooked stuff going on inside that these people were completely oblivious to what was going on, even though they were offered equity and tokens and all this stuff and payment sponsorship dollars. So to me, the sports stars are scapegoats in this case.
Yeah, the SEC know everything though. So let me and I'm not going to ask you to comment on that. So let me change gears. Your website, right, says that you wish to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency markets and everyday consumers. However, some people say that special needs and autistic people are not considered everyday consumers. How would you challenge that assumption?
So basically, the special needs community is something that the everyday consumer looks into. I mean, there are so many special needs charities out there that everyday consumers contribute to that, that we're bridging the gap. So it's like, so there are other charities out there, like, I don't want to say names, but there are other charities out there that revolve around special needs. I'll say some names: Autism Speaks, Autism Society of America, Els for Autism, Ernie Els' Foundation for Autism, Dan Marino Foundation for Autism. There's many, so, but none of them have their own cryptocurrency that's the utility token that's providing a means to be able to create an opportunity for those with autism and mental health issues. So, I mean, I just met last year, I think it was a Crypto World Con. I met a girl who's representing a new cryptocurrency around sober.com, and it's called SoberCoin, and it's a mental health token around being sober. And to give them a shout out, that's regarding SoberCoin. So I know nothing about them other than the fact that I've given their doctor who founded them some guidance on some things that I've learned. But they're we're bridging the gap using cryptocurrency as a means, because traditionally these charities would only accept payment in terms of fiat, to be able to accept charitable contributions in the past. We accept USDT, Binance token, we accept Bitcoin, we accept any sort of charitable contributions that we can get in crypto as well. So it's like, so it's a Ethereum, we prefer USDT, Tether, because it's the most stable. And it also backs our token with liquidity and trading. So for everything, so for liquidity and for everything around our token, for pairing. So we're optimistic, and we're really excited about the future with this crypto token and our foundation. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And it leads me to my next question. And I just wanted to find out how your IEO, your initial exchange offering, is going to work.
So we already did it. We did it through TokePi. And instead of actually doing an IEO, we actually just went live as a token. So we just went live as a token, and people started buying it and trading it. And we're already in Forbes Digital Assets, I think. Yeah, we're in Forbes Digital Assets. We're in a lot of major crypto places already. We're in Nomics, we're in Coin Codex, we're on Coin Paprika, we're a bunch of places. We're on Live Token Watch, I think it's called. We're in a lot of places already that you can see our token daily. Where our exchange lists us on CoinGecko under them. So we're in a lot of places already that people can view about our token and about the predictions. I will say this: predictions are not accurate by these sites always 100% of the time. So I don't control the market. I will just say that I don't control the market. What controls the market is the buyers and sellers of the token right now to TokenPi. So, and the trading volume. But we're doing fairly well. I mean, we're fluctuating between $22,000 and $29,000 in trading volume daily. So, and that's just starters. So, and we're anywhere between $1.98 to $2.03 a token, fluctuating. So our all-time high was $2.03, and that was like a few weeks. That was like a few weeks ago. So maybe 2 weeks ago. So we're fluctuating between $1.99 to like $2.01 right now, roughly daily, basically fluctuating. So, people that are trading our token on TokenPi are making money on us, but I'm waiting to sell our tokens through TokenPi, so we can start financing things for the Barry Mansey Foundation for Autism. So, but TokenPi wants to sell a bunch of their tokens first, I think, before they'll allow us to be able to sell peer-to-peer ours. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you. I am thanking you very much for your time today. I enjoyed speaking
Welcome.
to you. No problem. It's been a great conversation. I have one final question.
Yes.
How can people find out more information about Quan 2.0, about you? How can they join your community? How can they join? How can they get involved? How can they be part of your your world here?
So they can go to Quan, it's spelled KWAN, exchange.com, and they can send a question through the website and we'll respond, or an email through the website and we'll respond. If you're a member of the media, we'd love to have you interview us. Right now, we're trying to get in a bunch of publications, including Cointelegraph at Web3 Summits, which is the big boys, and a bunch of other podcasts and platforms as well. They can find us on Twitter at Quan, it's KWAN, the number 2 token. It's all one word, at Quan2 token. And they can add me on LinkedIn at my name, Barry, Barry, last name Mezey, Mezey. They can add me on LinkedIn. So if you want to add me on LinkedIn, or if you want to talk to me, you can follow me or add me. Yeah. And I'll talk to anyone that has any questions and that would like to know anything more.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Jamil. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day. Okay. Ciao.